paradise. When you get to heaven, you're going to be working? Now you see what I'm saying. When you get to heaven, will you be working? You won't be working. Work, as the Holy Bible puts it, was part of the fall of man. When Adam and Eve ate, he says, now you're going to have to work and sweat, and I'm paraphrasing, sweat by your brow. That means you're going to have to sweat for what you have. That's part of the results of them sinning. Now, God has made man to do certain things in the world. Now, if he can sing, he can rap, things like that, you've been given talents, right? Now, you should want to work to do your talents, to do your what you're gifted at. You should be willing to work for that, and that's what you should be doing. That's because that's what you're designed to do. You're designed to be a singer, then you should be singing. Hello? If you are designed and created with gifts that are undeniable, the gifts that you have are undeniable, then you should be doing those things instead of anything else. But when you're here in America, you're taught, no, you should be working for me. Get on back into this plantation. And in reality, you're designed to do something specifically. Yeah, you're not taught like that, are you? You're taught that you need to get out and work. If you don't work, you don't eat. You know what that means? You don't even know what that means. See, a lot of people misuse that. It literally means if you don't work, you first, obviously, let's look at the essence. If you don't work, you should not get anything. You're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything if you don't work. Right? If you don't work, literally, how are you going to get anything? But here's where it gets tricky with spiritual people. If you are doing spiritual work, the Bible says that there is a man whose labor is in wisdom. I can't speak for anybody else because my journey is a spiritual journey. I have proven this. You can see the things that I do. And so, as far as messages, and so there are some people that are not designed to do, I would definitely say this, they're not designed to do the physical labors that you do. They're designed to be brains of corporations and businesses, and they're designed to be these people that are more of the motion of things, but non-physical motion. Everybody can't go out here and do the same job. And if you know the world that you live in, you know that everybody ain't out here doing physical work. Everybody, you got some people got desk jobs. They do not do physical work. But I will speak for myself. Like for me being a musician, not doing everything properly, not doing everything right, obviously, being a starving artist kind of guy, going city to city, that's my story. Case closed. I don't have to explain anything else. If you're American, you already know when I said that, what all that means. Going city to city, trying to do this, trying to do that, believing in this, putting that first, not doing the vocation things of like most people go after, not trying to get trades, believing in the dream, believing it's going to take off. It's not a con game. People really believe in themselves and they think that, hey, I'm going to do this one day. And then you realize you're dealing with a system. I don't care how much talent you got, you're dealing with a system. So that's my story, you know. But yeah. So, but um, submitting to this country, I believe a lot of people, they go out here and work, they go out here and do what they know to do, and they think that, and they don't know how to separate being among America and not submitting to its perspective. First perspective is the foundational one is the 44 states with child marriage. That is the first perspective that you do not submit to. That's the first perspective you don't submit to. This is the first foundation. This is the foundational reason you do not submit. Okay? Um, but I do want to say this also. Paul did say, if a man doesn't work, separate that man, do not feed that man. Okay? That was Paul in the Bible. That's what he said. But you're dealing with, like, for me, in my situation, I don't know. I can't say that every man has to, I don't know, man. It's just like it's a live and learn situation where if you're trying to find your way and you're not stable in for certain reasons because you're trying to find your way and you don't know where you want to stay, all of that adds into not even working to establish yourself in a certain place. It all works into that, especially when you're fairly young. Okay? But you have homeless people. Now, what you say in that case? Well, he ain't working. I ain't giving him nothing. Do you ask him, is he working? Do you care if a homeless man at a soup kitchen is working or not? See, some people take things to the extreme. Let's put it like that. All right, but submitting to this country, submitting to this country, I don't feel a reason to. I think that a lot of you are doing it out of fear. You're doing it out of fear. You're doing it because, well, they got that big old military and they got that big old police institution. We can't change this. We can't do nothing about that. And so you're not really here in unison together because you love this country, because you love America. You're not here for that reason. You're not submitted for that reason. You're submitted because they got these military personnel, they got military officers and police officers. If that was gone, you think this country gonna stay still? Think about it. They're not gonna stay still. They're not gonna stay still. So my main thing is this: work among those you do not agree with. Work among those that you do not submit to and get what you need for your life. Work among those who oppose God, but do not submit to their community, to their government. They got 44 states with child marriage, guys. That's what they got. They have that. So, why should you submit? All you need to do is put your head down, get your money, and come out of this country. That's what you got to do. Okay? That's what you got to do. And when you understand that, right? You have come to understand the arts of um, working among the enemy, but not submitting, not giving, um, not giving an alliance. Especially as black people, you should know this. You don't have to. Why should you really have an alliance with this country? Why should you? Why should you? That's why I tell people all the time, the black man is the person that our ethnicity that is most likely to become an enemy of a country like this. Well, let's look at it. Who? Whites? The white man? The Mexican man? Any other race? The Asian man? But the black man is most likely to become an enemy, right? Naturally. Right? Right. So that's what you have to understand. You know, submitting, one of the main ways you're going to have to um, interact with this country is through working. But you have to be able to guard your mind, heart, and soul and realize that, guess what? Hey, I might be here working, but I'm not your friend. I'm not your friend. I'm not here to make friends. If people agree with me, with the facts, rather, 44 states marrying children, I'm not in alliance with America. If you want to be my friend, you have to agree with that. The Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? You should only be doing, as far as work, what you're created to do. Michael Jackson didn't work a day in his life. Michael Jackson didn't work a day in his life. Y'all didn't have no problem with that. Prince didn't work a day in his life. Y'all didn't have a problem with him. So I'm showing you two people who y'all dearly love that didn't even work. That's just an example. You do what you want to do with that. You do what you want to do with that. But the bottom line is, Michael Jackson didn't have a job ever. Ever. He just did what he was good at. So guess what? He had to have a support system to do that. So some men, they're not designed to work. They need a support system so they can do something greater in your society. And ain't nothing. Can you imagine if Michael Jackson had to go out and do construction? Come on, man. Come on. Can you imagine if Prince had to go do construction? And you can say, well, to make it, man, come on, bro. See, back then, people were more um, innocent in helping good people and talented people. But now you got a I'm coming for you kind of generation now. They see somebody with talent, oh, I'm coming for you. And they try to stop you. It's goofiness, corniness. That's what kind of, you know, world you live in now. But the bottom line is this, and I will say this because I feel like I need to keep saying this for some reason. As far as the beginning, what God's true intention was, there was no work, there was no labor, there was only paradise. And if you elevate, hear this part, if you elevate spiritually, you might come above the workforce and live in paradise. In other words, you return back to the original plan and purpose because you have gotten back connected with the maker and things got restored. This is not deception, guys. That's why I'm laying it all out, what it says. I'm not deceiving you. In the beginning, that's what it was. So how can, if you get elevated, you get close to God, it might be like that for you, as the original plan might come into your life, manifest into your life, right? Where you're living a paradise-like work and you don't have to do the things that other people do. You can't, I gave you examples. You had Michael Jackson, you had Prince. They wasn't around here working. They gained your respect, didn't they? Without working one day. You know what Prince said? I looked in the yellow pages. I didn't see a job I wanted to do. This is his exact words. Look it up. He didn't see a job he wanted to do. Wasn't lazy. He didn't see a job he wanted to do. So he applied himself to the music. The only difference with my generation is you can have all the talent in the world and people have that I'm coming for you attitude and politics and street politics and all of this stuff, and for whatever reason it doesn't work. For those reasons, or whatever other reasons, it doesn't work out. But nevertheless, that person is still designed to do that. That's all I can say. Let me also mention myself. Although I haven't worked at places for 20, 30 years, I made up for it for doing many different things. Walmart, worked there. Kmart, worked there. 7-Eleven warehouse, worked there. Aluminum plants, Kellogg's warehouse, 12 hours. Car auctions at temporary temp service. Grocery store was my first job at 15 years old. That's when I started working at 15. Okay? I left home when I was 20 and went to Los Angeles from North Carolina. So then as a young man, I'm 20 years old in Los Angeles. Now this is where it gets tricky for me because I have to make it all happen. I have to have plans, you know. So that's my story. So it ain't like I never worked. Okay? But we do have to back on this submission, we do have to understand the art of submitting without friendship, without alliance in the work environment. This has to be understood because what happens is you think that because they're paying you and you're working for them, you gotta have some type of friendship and relationship with the whole American community and culture. You can go out, you can have fun without alliance. You can go to the movies, you can go to shows, you can go to concerts without alliance. Because this is important. As a Christian, you have 44 states with child marriage here in America. You can't agree with that. You got 50 states all gay marriage, right? You can't agree with that. So you have to learn the art of being among this country without alliance. You have to learn this. You have to understand this. So you have to be able to do what you do, work, um, going out, having fun, without alliance. That's what has to be understood. Because see, what's going to happen is every time you go out, every time you interact, you feel the need to be cordial. And this is a country that has 44 states with child marriage, and they're ignorant of it. So how can you have an alliance with such ignorance? I know it hurts, but this is where it's at, bro. How can you be in alliance with a country that is cool with it? Is cool with this. The government is cool with this. How can you? They're doing it. How can you be in alliance with that? So what you have to do, like I said, is understand that you're here among them, but you're not of them. This is what has to happen. And people hate it, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that God does not want us to have alliance with this country anymore as Christians. And if you don't trust my judgment on it, then just go get the Bible. The Bible makes it clear, how can two walk together unless they agree? Some of these laws that's in the government, it's not going to change. Therefore, how can you walk with someone who is not going to change, right? You can't be in alliance with that. You can't be in alliance with that. See, people need to pay attention to strategy, bro. They need to pay attention to strategy. Because, see, I'm not among them right now. Especially, I'm not working right now. But I'm constantly giving. I'm giving finances. Whatever I get, I'm giving it to the kingdom of God. That's a strategy that still puts me in a certain position, a good position. Yeah, yeah. I'm constantly fasting. I have spiritual work that I do. And you ain't fasted in years. And you blame it on your job. Well, I work all the time. I got to have my food. So see, we all have our spiritual, we all have our work in society. I got to keep saying this because right now I think that's the resistance that I'm feeling. You think everybody got to do work and work for you. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And God will figure it out. God will work it out. God will work out my position. Don't worry about that. Just worry about your community and the position. Because at the end of the day, I've been teaching y'all something y'all don't even know. While you working, As men out here, I've done a labor that you couldn't do, or you didn't do. That's a 7. Well, I revealed to you 44 states is marrying your children. You could work 1,000,000 days and couldn't dig that up. So you don't think that actually balances it out, or you don't think that makes this all make sense. See, there are people that have labors besides the physical labors. That's a 7. And I don't know, I can't explain all the details. That's basically the foundation of what I can tell you. Because when I revealed this to your whole country, my labor level automatically went up. My labor level automatically went up. I revealed this to your whole country. Y'all been working for millions of years. But yet nobody knows about 44 states marrying children. Now you see what I'm saying. So we all have our works to do. And while we're doing them, we have to understand that we can't submit in the middle of these conflicts that's going on. Yeah. So all I'm saying is reevaluate why you submitted to this country. Are you submitted out of fear? Well, they might do this to me. If I try to do this or talk about this, think about it. I can't talk about what you talk about, Marcello, because I'm scared. They might come for me. Then you are submitted based on the military and the police and the institutions that the government uses, against their enemies. You're submitted out of fear. That's what it really is. And if that fear was not, if those institutions were not there, you would speak freely. You would say everything you needed to say about every issue. You would say everything you needed to say. And you're not saying it because you fear the institutions of the government coming for you. That's what it is. So you're not submitted out of love for this country. That's a 7. Most of y'all are not submitted out of love for this country. The white Americans are, many of them are. They're submitted to this country out of love. They're submitted to this country out of love because it has provided for them. It has been good to them, just to them as a community. The rest of us do not submit to America out of love. Why should we? Well, it's better here than anywhere, but you still can get shot down. You still can get beat up. It still happens. You still can get discrimination. It still happens. Whether you have freedoms here or not. Or we have freedoms here that other places do not have. You still can have a bad experience if you're not a white American. You can have a horrible experience and you could be working, you could be doing everything your country asks for you to do. But it's still not working. You're still not treated equal. So guess what that means? Many people that are non-white are not submitted to this country out of love for this country. They're submitted because there's something that stands in their way. So guess what that means? You're basically imprisoned. Yeah, white America, you can't share their experience. You can't share their experience here. You can't share their experience as your experience. You can't submit as they do because they're good. Everything's going to go good for them, for white people. Everything is not going good for you. You see the difference? So therefore, you cannot submit as they do as if you're living their experience. You're not living their experience. Anything can happen to you. You're subject to anything happening to you if you're not white. Anything can happen. Somebody just hit you. Somebody just shot you. Police just shot you. You can't say when it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. All you know is you don't share the same experience with these white Americans. Therefore, you should not be submitting as they do. Therefore, guess what that means? First of all, like I said, you don't have an alliance. You don't have an alliance. You don't have an alliance. That's the first thing first. No alliance. That means, hey, what happens to you happened to you. I'm sorry. As a country, I'm sorry. What happens to you happens to you. There's no alliance. See, what really is happening is God's people is about to come out. We about to come out of, and when I say out, I don't mean we're coming into blessings. I don't mean we're coming into something. We have to come out of alliance. We have to come out of this country totally. As far as